Welcome back to another insightful episode of Me and My Health Up. I'm your host, Anthony Hartcher, a clinical nutritionist and lifestyle medicine specialist. The purpose of this podcast is to enhance and enlighten your well-being. And today, I'll be doing that for you. And we're going to be talking about embracing every day as if it's your last. So it's about the rebirthing of you every day and not waiting for that one day a year to come around, that special day, your birthday, and then celebrate your birthday. In actual fact, when is your birthday? We define it as the day you come out of the womb. There's a whole thing around conception, and there's a whole thing around when you're in the twinkle of your parents' eyes and they had the idea and the conception around that idea. So in actual fact, what is the starting point of your birthday? When is it? We have this societal construct around that it's the day you come out of the womb, or the uterus. And the idea of that for me is we actually don't know that date. The end date, is there an end date when you stop breathing your last breath and therefore the birth date is that first breath? Well, as we know, energy is not created or destroyed, but only transformed from one form to another. So it's a continuous, we're on a continuum. And so this is why I don't get concerned about my chronological age and going up every year and getting older, because I'm on a continuum. I'm on this constant birth, and even so that we go on this constant cycle of birthing and dying every day, in terms of we have mitosis, which is cellular division, and that's, I guess, the regeneration of parts of us that have died off. And we have the apoptosis, which is programmed cellular death. And so we have cells dying every day, which we want those cells that are not serving us anymore. We want them to go, and we want them to create the space for new cells to come in and take their place and actually be more functional than the old cells. And so we do go through this whole process of rebirth and death every day, and it's on a continuum. And even at a subatomic level, we have particles and antiparticles, and then all the way to the sun. The sun's constant, or not the sun, the stars, the stars being, there's new stars being born, and there's old stars dying, and our sun will have an eventual death one day. So we have this continuum of birth and destruction, or build and destroy, in other words. And so for me, the birthday is really a day that's happening every day, because essentially every day you have a new day and a new you, and there's new cells. You have new skin cells that they're turning over on a cycle. We have our red blood cells turning over on a cycle. We have our endothelial layer, our gut layer. It's turning over on a regular cycle. We have our organs regenerating, rejuvenating, and obviously before that, the cells are dying as well. So there's this constant process, it's a continuum, so to speak. And this is what I'm getting to, is that every day is a birthday. Every day is a special day. Every day the sun rises, every day the sun sets. And so it's this constant new day, and we get a chance to rebirth ourselves. And so for me, I focus on, I want to be better than yesterday. And what can I do today to improve myself so that I can say that I'm a new person today, and therefore another birthday. I have a birthday every day. I don't wait for that one day a year, and then I'm not worried about what chronological age I am, because I consider myself youthful every day, because I'm rebirthing every day. And so what you want to think about is, what are you learning new every day? So make an effort to learn something new every day. So I always put a time aside to learn something new. I'm constantly learning something new about the work I love. So in terms of the field you love, or the area that you value most, what are you learning about? And make it a constant practice of learning something new. And so therefore your mental capacity is evolving. You are growing. You are constantly rebirthing and becoming better than yesterday. The other thing is your career or your business focus. What are you doing there every day to improve that? So I'm looking about, how can I reach more people? How can I help enhance and enlighten the well-being of others every day? What can I go about doing that will set me to get more, more reach, more, might get my message out to others that, are looking for what I have to offer. So I'm looking at doing that and improving the business and the way and all the mediums of which I do that every day. You probably recall, if you're listening to early episodes of Me&my Health Up, that I just had guests on the show. And it was because I had that imposter syndrome. Who would want to listen to me? And now you can't get me off the show. I hog the limelight. I still have guests, but obviously I'm having a segment or, providing segments of philosophy, insight, and what I'm learning. And I'm sharing that. And I've got over the imposter syndrome. And that's the rebirth of me. That's the growth and evolution of me. So you'll have, be witness to my evolution through this podcast, how I'm learning and I'm applying that by teaching you, and I'm learning in new areas all the time. You probably think this podcast is all over the place. It's because I'm inquisitive, I'm curious, and anything that improves health, I'm interested in, and I'm sharing that with you. So that's the benefit of listening to the Me&my Health Up podcast. So in your business, in your career, what are you doing every day to improve that aspect of your life? What are you doing financially every day to improve your finances, to take you or set you on the course of financial freedom? What are you doing? How are you cutting out costs? How are you adding extra streams of revenue or income? What are you doing about your finances every day to take that forward, to rebirth your finances so they're constantly improving and evolving? What are you doing in a family context every day to improve the family dynamic? How are you showing up? Are you more present? How can you be more present? How can you spend less time on technology and be present with your family at dinner time? Just aspects of, or how do you want, how do you want to spend your time with family? How do you want to allocate that time with family? And how do you want to support your children's development, your family's development, your spouse, your partner's development? How do you want to support them? How do you want to improve that every day? What can you do every day that supports the evolution, the rebirth of you and your family dynamics? In terms of society, how are you taking that forward? So this is one way in which I have an influence on society, is through my podcast. And so that's why I drop an episode every week. And I've just started doing Facebook Lives to expand my reach. And I'm doing reels on pretty much all the channels. I'm pretty much on every social media channel. I've just set up a Pinterest channel because that's a growing area. There's about 400 million people on Pinterest. And so now I'm on Pinterest as well as TikTok. And so I'm constantly looking at ways I can expand my reach and expand my message and share that and have an influence. And so I want to have an influence on society. So socially, how are you influencing? How are you influencing your peers? How are you supporting your peers? How are you better supporting your social circles? What are you doing in terms of that aspect of your life? What are you doing every day to improve that aspect of your life? And then in terms of your physical health, so what are you doing every day to improve your physical health? So I'm constantly looking at new ways in which I can improve my health. And I share that on this medium. As you know, recently I've been into sunrises. So I see the sunrise every morning. I've now introduced earthing at the same time. So I'm walking along the beach, watching sunrise, and I've also habit stacked that with educating myself on health and wellness. And so I'm doing all these healthy habits and stacking and, empowering my knowledge with the rising sun. So with the rising sun, the new day, I'm rebirthing. It's another birthday for Anthony. He's getting smarter. He's evolving his intellect. He's looking at ways and thinking of ways in which he can expand his influence. He's constantly thinking about how he can improve his family dynamic, his finances. And so I'm looking at all these aspects of life and how I can evolve them. So I'm birthing every day. And the old me is dying because I've got a new layer of evolution to me. So embrace this. Every day is a birthday. Don't wait for one day a year. And I got to give gratitude to my parents because they never made a big fuss about birthdays. Yes, we had birthday celebrations, but it wasn't a big fuss. And so I never become attached to that one day. And so for me, I've always not been fussed about my birthday. It's another day, but just like every other day, there's nothing different really about that birthday. And I'm not concerned about whether people like, so when you make a big fuss about a birthday, you then create expectations around a birthday, and then you'll have expectations on others. And that is doomed to fail or doomed to let you down because you're reliant on others to make a big fuss of your birthday. Whereas because I'm rebirthing every day, I don't give a stuff on my birthday if this person calls me or doesn't call me or contacts me or remembers or whatever. I'm not worried about that at all because every day is a chance to improve my birthday. And in some ways, I think this of anniversaries, why is it one day a year you treat someone with some special way? Why not every day? Why don't we do that every day? I question why we wait until Valentine's Day or your anniversary to, celebrate that occasion, because relationships are evolving every day. They're rebirthing and things are moving on. You're moving through things. You're moving through struggles. And so it should be a celebration every day. Don't wait for one day a year and then have high expectations that the other person is going to sweep you off your feet and make a big deal, because inevitably you can be let down because you're reliant on someone else. The only thing you can control is you and how you see things and your expectations. So it's best to have the expectations on yourself in terms of wanting to improve yourself, as opposed to waiting for or putting expectations on others in terms of them to behave in a certain way to make you feel good. I make myself feel good every day by evolving myself in all areas of life, improving myself in all areas of life. I have no dependency on anyone because I can control what I do in all areas of life. I can control how I show up in the family. I can control in terms of how much time I dedicate to evolving my education. I can control when I do a podcast. I'm not reliant on anyone else. I can do this all the time, every day. In terms of my physical health, I'm in control of that. It doesn't depend on anyone else. So you want to make sure that you rebirth every day and evolve every day, and not wait for one day a year or a couple of days a year to celebrate. Celebrate every day. Make every day a special day. As they say, every day above ground is a good day. And that's what I'm wanting to constantly do as a human when I'm above ground, to take my intellect, my knowledge to the next level every day, to another level every day. And then what happens after I die, that spirit or that intellect, that information is then parted into many. It goes from one being in this confined body out to many. I'm going to have a profound influence on the many, because there'll be people that tap into that entanglement with me, that have listened to an episode, and they'll take that through their life. They'll take this episode through their life and entangle that in others, and let everyone know that a birthday is every day of the year. It's not just one day. It's every day of the year. And you're in control of that by evolving yourself, nourishing yourself, and then nourishing your relationships. You putting in, not expecting others to do something in return, but you just putting in, you showing up, you doing what you can do, and not having the expectations on others. That's just a bonus, okay? When it happens, all the stars align and your expectations are met. I don't put expectations on others. I only put expectations on myself. And the expectations on myself are the things that I can control. And everything I've mentioned in all these 7 areas of life, or the 6 areas of life I've spoken about, the 7th area of life is spirituality. But this is what this episode is to let you know you're on a constant birth and death cycle. And, when our body breaks down, that is just the end of our human experience. We then go into the ether, and our knowledge isn't lost. It's just parted onto the many. All those that you tangoed with during your life, you've imparted some wisdom. And this is what this podcast is about, leaving a legacy. This will be around for much longer than my physical presence, these podcast episodes, and hopefully it has an influence on the future generations. I want to leave a legacy that I've made some difference in someone else's life for I guess many lifetimes, not just my lifetime. So what is it that you can do in terms of make a difference and leave a legacy in the area that you value most? As you know, I value it in health and well-being, but you might value it in family or relationships, or in your physical health, and or in social influence, or in social circles, or it might be financial. That's where you want to leave a legacy. You might want to empower people like Scott Papp in terms of the Barefoot Investor. You might want to be make a difference there. Or is it in cooking? Cooking and showing people how to cook and teach them how to cook and get them to embrace cooking as opposed to reliant on processed and fast foods. So I just really wanted to share this little insight around every day is your birthday. Every day is a special day, and it's you, the expectations on you to develop and grow and to become a new person every day, and do that with the sunrise. That's why I wake up with the sunrise, not only to embrace the benefits that I get from a health perspective, but also to recognize what difference am I going to make today. So that's what I'm looking to do, is make a difference every day. And that rising of the sun sort of reminds me of the rising of me, coming out of my shell, getting out of this imposter syndrome and rebirthing and becoming an influencer in the space of health and wellness. So I'm constantly evolving. You've been along this journey with me, and I really appreciate you coming along this journey with me and listening to me. I'm hopefully there's some wisdom that you're taking away and applying in your life. And I'm just released a new coaching program, a group coaching program, which, if you're looking for some a financially affordable way to really accelerate your health and well-being, I have this monthly group coaching program. If you go to the show notes and go to support the show, down the bottom, there's a support the show. That goes to my Patreon page. And then you want to sign up to the me&my Plus, the me&my Plus, the me&my Health Up Plus Club. It is the me&my Health Up Plus Club. And that's where I offer group coaching. And that's where we get together monthly. And I share some education, and we have a Q&A session. I answer your questions. I hold you accountable for the goals that you said that you would achieve that month. And we go through this journey together, this monthly journey where we're empowering each other's health and well-being by holding each other accountable and making goals and setting goals every month, as opposed to just for January. I set a New Year's resolution, then I forget it by February. So this group will empower you to stay accountable in your health and wellness every month. And it's only a monthly commitment. You can cancel, any month that you want to. So you can do it for a month and see if you like it. There's actually 7 days you get for free. And then beyond that, there's no long-term commitment to it. If you're getting value, obviously you keep paying. If you're not getting value, then you can leave at any stage. So join the me&my Health Up Club Plus, and come on a journey with me as a group, as a collective, and let's health up together. Thank you. Podcast disclaimer. This podcast and any information, advice, opinions, or statements within it do not constitute medical, healthcare, or professional advice and are provided for general information purposes only. All care is taken in the preparation of the information in this podcast. Connected Wellness Proprietary Limited, operating under the brand me&my Health Up, does not make any representations or give any warranties about its accuracy, reliability, completeness, or suitability for any particular purpose. This podcast and any information, advice, opinions, or statements within it are not to be used as a substitute for professional, medical, psychological, psychiatric, or any other mental health care or healthcare in general. me&my Health Up recommends you seek the advice of a doctor or qualified health provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition. Inform your doctor of any changes that you may to your lifestyle and discuss these with your doctor. Do not disregard medical advice or delay visiting a medical professional because of something you hear in this podcast. This podcast has been carefully prepared on the basis of current information. Changes in circumstances after publication may affect the accuracy of this information. To the maximum extent permitted by the law, me&my Health Up disclaims any such representations or warranties to the completeness, accuracy, merchantability, or fitness for purpose of this podcast, and will not be liable for any expenses, losses, damages incurred, indirect or consequential damages, or costs that may be incurred as a result of the information being inaccurate or incomplete in any way and for any reason. No part of this podcast can be reproduced, redistributed, published, copied, or duplicated in a form without prior permission of me&my Health Up.